Why did you do this to us? We believed in you, we trusted in you, and you cheated in Minecraft.
I can't believe Dream lied. He's been smiling at me this whole time, and I thought he was telling the truth. I thought I could trust him, and he lied to me. So you guys remember the very first Twitterverses I made on Dream, where the Minecraft speedrun moderator GeoSquare looked at Dream's run and determined that he would have to have a 1 in 7 trillion chance to get that lucky without cheating. Then Dream went on to say that the video is BS and GeoSquare's clickbaiting, following that up with a video response that allegedly had a Harvard professor help validate what Dream was claiming.
A professor with a PhD that graduated from Harvard that's actually a practicing astrophysicist that is an expert in statistics and astrostatistics. The only reason I was insistent on the math being wrong is because I know that I didn't cheat.
Well, about 7 months later, he actually admitted to cheating. He tweeted out about speedrunning. I feel like this is important to talk about. I've been very withheld for a while about it all, and I just decided it'd probably be best to just let it go, so I can feel relaxed a little more, I guess. This will be a very long read, I'm sure. I'm writing this in my bath at 4 AM on my phone, so forgive any mistakes or confusing bits. Back in October/November of 2020, I, for the first time since when 1.16 had just released, decided to try and speedrun 1.16, some to get a decent time. My goal was to get a time faster than 25 minutes, which was a good time and fairly obtainable at the time for me without spending months of speedrunning. We had or were just about to switch Manhunt to 1.16, and I wanted to get practice for that, and then speedrun for a better 1.15 time, because my record on 1.15 had been beaten. After running for about a week, I got a 19-minute time that arguably could be lower, ironically enough, due to bad luck. I started running 1.15 directly after, and a few days later, there were some suspicions involving my streamed runs on 1.16. At this point, I was cooperative but upset and confused that I was being questioned. I provided all the information that I could, and assumed that everything was fine. As chatter grew, I was confused and the numbers didn't look to be in my favor. At this point, I reached out to the only Mojang developer that I had contact with, and talked for an hour or so about what was going on. I told him the details and was asking if there's any potential for a bug or glitch, and he told me that no, there isn't, but said some things about how banning for luck seems far-fetched, and that they should improve their system. I felt a little reassured, but also angry that I was potentially being dragged for absolutely nothing. It wasn't a huge thing yet, but it still lingered in my mind, and I couldn't really think about anything other than it. As time went on and many weeks passed, I grew more and more frustrated, convinced that I was being targeted due to the fact that I was a YouTuber, and a couple of the mods, self-admitted, didn't like me at all, and didn't have many kind words to say. I was an asshole and lashed out publicly, saying the investigation was a farce, and expressing how pissed I was that I was being targeted and that it was taking so long, as the mods kept giving me deadlines and then missing them. This was terribly stupid of me to do. I was scared and stressed and said and did shitty things. I regretted a lot, and really wish that I had been able to keep my calm. Later that month, the speedrun team released a video and document detailing why my 1.16 runs couldn't have been legitimate based on math and statistics. I admittedly don't know shit about math and statistics. I didn't go to college, and I hated math my whole life. At this point, I felt complete fear, as I felt like I had been publicly smeared in a way that I have no clue how to respond to. I didn't understand the math, and I didn't understand why I had been left in the dark for so long, only to have a video dropped randomly on me right before MCC. At this point and before, I had multiple speedrun moderators messaging me scary things about how it was a shit show, and no one could agree on things just before the release, that they were clearly biased against me, and so on. In retrospect, this may have been done out of fear and wanting to be on the good side of a really big YouTuber, or maybe they were being truthful, or a little bit of both. All I know is that it scared me a lot. Feeling like everything you built might come tumbling down and there's nothing you can do about it is really stressful. Again, I lashed out. I tweeted about the mods being clout chasers, and said a lot of really dicky things. I was pissed, I was scared, and I was being an idiot. Shortly after that, someone gave me the idea to hire a professional statistician because I knew nothing about math. This calmed me down a lot and brought me back to a much healthier mindset. I googled and ended up finding 2 professors, and I emailed them both about the situation asking for assistance. Only one of them was available to help. I was looking for help and told them that I didn't cheat, and that I just needed a second opinion on the math. Eventually, the professor came back to me with a conclusion that the mod's numbers were off by a significant margin, and that it's possible, although extremely unlikely, again, not completely understanding math, but knowing that my expert's opinion seemed to be that the mods were off, I felt vindicated and relieved. I made a video about it, and expressed the professor's views. People hounded me for it, saying that the astrophysicist was fake, but mods confirmed it was legit. I just wanted a mostly unbiased party's opinion. The mods came back with a response, correcting the professor and saying that he was off and providing reasons for why. Again, I don't understand complicated math, so I sent it directly to the professor asking for his thoughts. Later on, he came back to me admitting there were mistakes in his original assessment, although he still believed theirs was off. In his rebuttal though, he came to the conclusion that it's not improbable that I didn't cheat. I felt like the right thing to do was to post his findings. Even though he hadn't asked me to yet, I did. I tweeted them out and replied saying I agree that it seems more likely than not that I cheated. I didn't say anything more than that. Funnily enough, he actually emailed me a day or two later, saying I need to post his findings, or he will, semi-threatening but not in a mean way, and I responded that I already had before he even asked. At this point I was lost, and fairly confused about the whole thing, wondering what the other opinions were and exploring the possibilities. As much as I was confident that I didn't cheat, I had never explored the option that I possibly did. Due to the way that I reacted to the mods and perceived everything going on, I was convinced that they were out to get me. I was tunnel visioned and was paranoid and didn't think straight. I had completely valid reasons to believe they weren't impartial, and had the mod team and I been completely friendly from the beginning, I believe it would have never gotten to the point that it did. After considering this, I ended up finding out I had actually been using a disallowed modification during 6 of my live streams on Twitch. At the time, we were just starting to record videos on 1.16, and we had just hired a developer to help with coding mods for videos because me and George had no experience with mods, only plugins. One of the mods they were working on was an overall recording mod that I have used in every video, with updates and improvements, since around the speedrun controversy. You may have noticed it in my videos due to F3 being small or particles being reduced, or recently on my streams things like the background being custom or a dream server option, and plenty of other features and improvement. In our challenge videos before 1.16, we always increased the Enderman spawn rates and pearl drop rates out of convenience, and we've mentioned that openly before. It makes the video better because we don't spend hours looking for pearls or spend so much time farming blaze rods, a total RNG thing, mostly pearls. When 1.16 came out, it was more complicated to increase piglin trades than it is to do with Enderman pearl drops. A server-side plugin was made for our videos that slightly increases the rates. Around this time as the first versions of the recording mod was being made, although it was more of a chat mod at this point. I had considered at the time that this potentially could have been a problem, but brushed it off because 1, server-side and client-side are completely different, and as far as I was aware, nothing had been done client-side. 2, as far as I knew, it was just basically a chat mod so far, and 3, I was 99% sure that I didn't even have the recording mod on, which was backed up by the Fabric API logs, saying that only the Fabric API was loaded, although I found later it only lists things that explicitly ask to be listed, which I had no idea. This was mentioned in my response video. I ended up thinking that it's basically the only explanation after the professor came back with what he did. I talked with the developer and ended up finding out that when he was working on the mod stuff, he added the same improvements from our challenge servers to the client-side mod, so that they would work in single player for videos, like the shot caller video, or other single player mod videos. This was only in an early rendition of the mod, and was removed because the developer realized that those type of videos can just be done on a PC hosted server. This actually included a couple other things that weren't mentioned at all during the controversy, much as far as I'm aware. Ender eyes have a low chance of breaking when thrown, and Enderman dropped pearls had a much higher percentage. I don't think I killed many Endermen, so this wasn't noticeable, similar to the eyes. When I realized this, I felt an extreme sense of guilt, and I took down my response video, not believing in what I said in the video at all anymore. This was a couple months ago at this point, I believe. When the drama first started, I cared more about defending myself and being right, than about figuring out what was actually going on, and I shot myself in the foot by doing it. I felt really terrible for the mods because I dragged them through the mud even though they were mostly right. I still feel as though the mod team was extremely unprofessional when dealing with it, but they are a group of volunteers just trying to do their job, and in their eyes, I was some cheating sob YouTuber who didn't care at all. Maybe in their position, I would have treated me the same. I was an asshole back to them, which didn't help at all either. I reflected a lot about the entire thing, and had a lot of regret about just the first few days after the runs. What if they had asked for my mods sooner? What if I had realized sooner? Maybe if I hadn't had a history with a couple of the mods, maybe I wouldn't have jumped straight to them being out to get me. Further past that, what if I could have controlled my emotions? and not blown the whole thing out of proportion. I can't live with what ifs though, so I just left with what I had. I debated live streaming or making a video about it, but the drama had basically already passed, and I was worried about rekindling the fire when I had basically gone through a couple months straight of absolutely being shit on by everyone that didn't think of me favorably, and the mods had gone through weeks of torture, I'm sure too. I figured it's out of the way, and would have been a story I would tell in a few years when no one really cared. I told a couple people and just felt like the community had been through enough drama, and that it was pointless. I didn't want to be the center of controversy for the 100th time. It was shitty in an unfortunate situation, where I felt like I couldn't defend myself anymore in good faith without feeling bad, but I also didn't have any intention of cheating. Since the speedrun controversy, there has been some animosity between me and the mods, and I feel like the relationship only got worse. They declined my donations from the controversy video, got into drama a couple of times with me/my community on Twitter since. Don't want to go into specifics. And a month or so ago, added me to chat questioning me about my previous 1.5 runs from around a year ago. They saw a suspicious black box they thought meant a splice, but it turned out to be a YouTube setting on their end that they realized. And they had some other random questions as well. This was resolved fairly maturely, I believe, and I haven't talked to them since. Yesterday around MCC, the mods made a decision to remove my old runs due to suspicions, and the fact that my 1.16 run was invalid, which is something that is done with most people who submit any invalid runs at all. I'm sure there's reasonable suspicions about most runs, especially offline ones from back when they were allowed. So couple that with a 1.16 run being actually invalid, and it's a completely reasonable assumption. You can't give someone the benefit of the doubt on lag or frame skips, or potential cuts or anything, unless they've earned it. And in this case, I haven't at all. So I don't want to see any hate towards the mods, or any drama involving the fact that they were marked invalid due to my 1.16 run. I think it's dumb, and it's been done 11 months later, and it's understandable, and if anything, I deserve it, and it puts an end to any potential drama. At this point, what could they do? Double ban me? I'm not really sure what I'm expecting out of all of this, but I just felt like I had a huge weight on my shoulder and want to get it off. I think the whole situation was extremely shitty overall for everyone involved, and I wish that I could go back and do things differently because it was some of the worst weeks of my life, and still impacts me every day. I'm sorry to anyone that I let down or disappointed. I always strive to be the best person that I can be, and that whole debacle wasn't the best that I can be, or anywhere near it. I hope this brings some closure to anyone who needed it, and I really want to move forward with positive vibes like I've been trying my best to promote as much as I can. When I got into speedrunning, I was doing it every day for months, and you can see the skill improvement even just over a few months of tryharding. It was so much fun, and I got a few snarky records that I shouldn't have got in the first place. My first world record, I chopped down trees for 10 minutes. I still find it hilarious how unoptimized the category was. I came in at the right time and met some absolutely incredible people who were some of the best Minecraft players on the planet. I am nowhere near the best speedrunner, and I never have been. I was in the right place at the right time and was able to have a lot of fun because of that. I hope that this gives insight into my mindset a little bit, but if not, I'm not sure what will. I'm sure I'll talk about it more just for clarity's sake, but I want to avoid causing more drama. Please don't send any hate to the mod team or anyone involved in this situation. I don't want any more drama at all. You are not a supporter of mine if you do. Dream. Well, I guess I'm not a supporter of Dream because I personally love drama, and there was a lot of drama on Twitter that came out in response to this post. But it's a lot to go over, so I think I will dedicate that to the next video. If you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. Also, leave a comment down below on what you think of this whole thing. Personally, I think it's kind of overblown. I think the fact that Dream thought this would ruin his entire career and still thinks about this every day is just a little silly. I feel like he could have admitted that he cheated right away. People would talk about it for a week and then it would just be done with. He has way too many fans for this scandal to cause him to lose even a minor portion of that. Most people watch Dream because he's entertaining, and that doesn't change if he cheated in Minecraft. But that's just my opinion. I would love to hear yours in the comment section below. I'd also like to thank my channel members for supporting the channel, in particular Scrubby, who's donated $100 a month. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.